Hey guys, Dirk Dallas here with Adorama TV, and today, I have to tell you, I'm super excited to show you a technique that I've been playing with lately, and it is a blast. I'm gonna show you how to create a 360-degree interactive panorama using your drone. All right, so let's first make sure that we're all on the same page here. What is an interactive panorama? Well, it's basically a way for people to interact with a panorama using their mouse or smartphone, and it gives the viewer the feeling that they are hovering in space. This is because they can rotate all around an image in all directions. Now, if you think that's cool, let's get started. The first thing that you need to do is you need to get a bunch of photos of your entire scene, and you can do this manually by capturing 20 to 26 or so photos of your scene that have at least a 30 to 40% overlap from image to image. This will make stitching the photos together in post much easier. I actually go with an automated option, so I don't even have to think about it. So I've bought an app called Litchi, which lets me capture all the images I need for a panorama automatically. So once you're ready to go and you have your drone up in the air and the Litchi app open, you want to make sure that you switch the camera from auto to manual so that the exposure, ISO, white balance, and shutter is all nice and consistent from photo to photo. So dial in the proper setting for your scene and then lock the settings by clicking the button that switches the camera from auto to manual. Once that is set, click on the Litchi logo and choose Pano. Then click the Pano settings button on the left hand side of the screen. If you want, you can go in and you can make some tweaks to how it will capture the panorama, but I tend to just leave everything at the default setting, which is 3 rows and 8 photos per row, and I have had no problems going that route. Next, click on Start Panorama. Then the Litchi app will take control of the drone's camera and automatically yaw and pitch the gimbal all the way around to capture your entire scene. So now you just need to hang tight for just a couple minutes for the drone to finish capturing all the images that you will need for the panorama. Alright, so once you have all your images, it's time to start building your panorama. Now, I've purchased this software here called PTGui. It's really easy to use, but I will admit it does cost a bit of money. But if you are on a budget, try doing a search for some free 360 Pano software. I did find this one web app that you can upload your images here and get a similar effect, but it is missing some of the advanced features that I really like. So if you are interested, go check out this app. They have a free trial. You can see if you like it and if you think it's worth spending money on. Now I'm going to open up PTGui, and this is the screen I'm presented with when I first open the app. I have my editor over here, and then this is where I load in my images. So I just need to find my images, and I took 26, and I'm going to drag them and drop them. Now it's going to give you a pop-up and say, hey, what camera did you use to shoot this panorama? And for some reason my data is not loading, but you do have these presets down here that you can use. So, or if you want, you could type in the settings if you know that. I'm just going to go with a preset and hit OK. Alright, so after we load our images, the next thing that we need to do is we need to come down here to step 2 and align them. So it's going to analyze all the images, and it's going to find out where there are sections that match, and then it will stitch those sections together with the overlap, and then we will start to build our panorama. So here in the editor, we see this is what our panorama looks like all stitched together. Now I could come back over here to the preview option right here, and I could type in a number like 3000 and hit preview, and I'm going to preview it in the PTGui viewer. And what that's going to do is that's going to give me a low res JPEG preview of what the high-res version would be if I wanted to export it out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go full screen with this, and you can see that we're starting to build the pano, and it looks pretty cool. If I tilt all the way down, you see there's the road. If I tilt all the way up, oh, you're going to see that I have a big hole in the sky. I will show you how to fix this in just a minute. But other than that, this looks pretty good. So I'm gonna exit out of this. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do one extra step to make the hole in the sky easier to edit in Photoshop. So I'll come up here to Tools, Numerical Transform, and there's the shortcut for it. And I'm gonna pitch this 90 degrees. And you can see what that has done is it's shifted the orientation of the pano, and now we just have this hole in the middle of the pano, which will make it easier to fix in Photoshop. So just hang with me, this will make sense in just a moment. So let's say this is looking good, we're ready to export it out. If you click Set Optimum Size, then you're going to get the full res settings for each of the width and the height. And then I'm going to change the file format to TIFF, make sure it's on TIFF, and then I'm going to make sure that layers are just set to blended panorama only. If you wanted to, you could have access to the individual layers if you wanted to go in and just really edit them in Photoshop or something like that. Last, we just need to choose where we want to save it. So I'm just going to save it in this folder, and I will hit Create Panorama. Now, this is going to take a few moments because you got to remember, this is stitching together 26 photos. Now, the file is going to be huge, and then, we're saving it as a TIFF. So you're going to have to wait just a few moments, but once it's done, we will open it up in Photoshop. Alright, so here I am in Photoshop, and just know, if you don't have Photoshop, you can skip this step. You can leave the hole up there at the top. It's not a big deal. But I have Photoshop, so I'm just going to take care of it. What basically I'm going to do is I'm going to fill in the hole with more sky. And I'm going to do that the quick way by just drawing a selection out and going up to Edit, Fill, and then I'm going to make sure that this says ContentAware. And then I'm going to hit OK. And Photoshop's going to process all the missing data that is in that hole and try to figure out what should be there based on its surroundings. Now, this is a really cool tool. It's actually one of my favorite tools in Photoshop, but you could do some clone stamp over here. You can, work with the patch tool, but we're just going to see what happens. And if we need to, we can clean it up as well. All right, so ContentAware is done, and I think this looks actually pretty impressive. If I was being super nitpicky, I could go in and get rid of some of this stuff, but I'm just going to leave it. So let's go ahead and save this out, and I'm just saving it out back to a TIFF, and then I'm going to import it back into PTGui as a TIFF. So let's go back to PTGui, and I'm going to make a new project file. So I'm going to hit this button, and it says, hey, do you want to save what you were just working on? I'm going to say yes. I'm going to save this real quick, and then now I get a blank canvas. So I'm going to go over here to my Finder, get back to this panorama, drag and drop it, and I'm going to hit preview. Actually, I have an issue here, and let me show you what that looks like. Right now, it's only showing me a piece of the image, just a square. I can no longer see the big, long pano that I originally had. So what I have to do is I have to come up here to this little triangle, and I'm going to come down over here to this spherical 360 by 180, and that should fix it. Yep, and now it's fixed. Now, if you remember, to fix the sky originally, we rotated the image. So we're going to fix this and revert it back to the proper orientation. So I'm going to come up here to Tools and Numerical Transform. And what I'm going to do is just put -90, and there we go. It's back to normal. So if you wanted to, you could do a quick preview and check it out here, but I know that this is ready to go, so I'm just going to go back over here to Create Panorama. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to save it out as a JPEG because I'm done editing it and I want a smaller file that I could share, pass around in email. So I'm going to come over here and type in 3000 pixels, and I'm going to choose where I want to save this, and I'm going to select create panorama. Now it's going to do a full stitch, and I can go back over to my Finder, and there we go. There's our panorama. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to upload this to Facebook and see if we can get the interactive 360 pano effect. There's my pano. If I click on it, you see I got this little icon here. So if I enter into this photo, and I can move all the way around, and your friends and family can check this out. And you see we got rid of the hole in the sky, and if you have a smartphone, you can use your phone to just turn around and rotate the image. It's pretty cool. Alright, I'll show you one more thing inside of PTGui. What you can do is you can come over here to the tools, and you can go to publish to website. And this is after you've exported out that JPEG. So all I need to do is drop in my JPEG pano right here, and there it is. Drag and drop. And by default, all these settings are good to go. I will increase the quality though, make it 95, and then just tell it where I want to save it. And so I'll go to browse, and then if I have a web host or Dropbox, all I have to do is upload these files and someone can view it through the web browser. Right here is my HTML file. So if I were to open this with Firefox, you could see that I get a interactive player that I could then, upload this to my server or Dropbox or whatever, and then email out to friends and family so they could check it out. And it's all interactive, so a really, really cool effect. So I hope that was helpful to you guys. Thanks so much for watching Adorama TV. If you happen to create any interesting interactive 360 panos, post a link down below so that I can check it out. I would love to see them. I'm Dirk Dallas, and I'll see you guys next time.